Hey there. Tonight we're going back, way back, to 480 BCE, ancient Sparta. But forget everything you think you know from the movies. This isn't about rippling abs and slow-motion battles. This is about something far stranger, far more brutal, and honestly, far more fascinating. You're 7 years old. Your mother just kissed your forehead for what might be the last time. In her hand, she holds a small wooden shield, barely bigger than a dinner plate. She kneels down, looks you dead in the eyes, and whispers words that will haunt you for the rest of your life. Come back with this shield, or on it. You don't understand yet, you will. Tonight, I'm taking you through the actual life of a Spartan boy, not the Hollywood version, the real one. The one they don't teach you in school because it's uncomfortable, bizarre, and sometimes downright horrifying. We'll walk through your training, your first kill, your wedding night. Yes, that's as weird as it sounds. And eventually, that moment on the battlefield when her words finally make terrible, perfect sense. So, dim the lights, get comfortable. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is for you. And let's step into the sandals of a child who never really had a childhood. This is the story they never taught you. You are standing in the courtyard of your family home in Sparta. The morning sun casts long shadows across the packed earth. You are exactly 7 years old today. Your mother, Gorgo, stands before you wearing her crimson peplos, her dark hair pulled back severely from her face. Her eyes are dry. Spartan women do not cry, especially not today. Your father, Decisive, a battle-scarred warrior with a limp from the last campaign, watches from the doorway. He says nothing. He never says much. This morning is different from all the others. You've been measured, weighed, inspected since birth for any deformity. You passed. Many didn't. The weak ones were taken to the apathetai, the deposits, a chasm outside the city. You never asked what happened there. You knew. Now comes the agoge, the training. Your mother kneels and grips your shoulders. Her hands are calloused, stronger than you'd expect. Listen to me, she says, her voice level. You belong to Sparta now, not to me. You will learn to endure pain. You will learn to steal food without being caught. You will learn to kill. She pauses. If you fail, do not come home. Sparta has no use for cowards. You nod because that's what's expected. Behind her, your older brother's shield hangs on the wall. He died last year. Persia. The barracks smell like sweat, leather, and something else you can't name yet. Fear, maybe. Not friendly laughter. Predatory. Your head is shaved completely. The razor was dull. Your scalp still stings. You're given one cloak, red wool, thin enough to see through. This is all you get, says the paidonomos, the boy herder, a man named Sthenelaidas, with a crooked nose and missing teeth. Summer, winter, doesn't matter. One cloak. You'll learn to manage. The sleeping area is just packed dirt, covered with reeds. No blankets, no pillows. 20 boys to one room. You're assigned a spot near the door where the night wind cuts through. The boy next to you, Aristodemus, is already crying silently. His shoulders shake. You want to cry too, but you remember your mother's face, dry eyes. An older boy, maybe 12, swaggers over. His name is Alcibiades, and he has a scar across his cheek. New meat, he announces. The others laugh. He kicks Aristodemus hard in the ribs. Stop crying, or I'll give you something to cry about. Aristodemus tries to stop. He can't. Alcibiades kicks him again. You look away. You learn your first lesson. Weakness invites violence. There's no help coming. The first meal is a test you didn't know you were taking. You're led to a common hall where wooden bowls of black broth are waiting. The smell hits you first. Blood, vinegar, pork fat boiled together into something that barely qualifies as food. The older boys are already eating, slurping it down with dark bread so hard it could break teeth. You lift the bowl. The broth is lukewarm, thick with congealed fat. You take a sip. Your stomach revolts immediately. It tastes like salted death. You see Aristodemus vomit his first mouthful onto the floor. Alcibiades appears behind him instantly. Waste food again and you don't eat for 3 days. It's not an idle threat. After the meal, you're still hungry. Everyone is. An older boy, about a farm 2 miles north where chickens roost at night. Easy pickings, he says. But another boy tried last week. Got caught. You saw him this morning, back striped with whip marks, barely able to stand. He won't be trying again soon. You learn lesson 2. You're supposed to break the rules, but only if you're smart enough not to get caught. It's not about obedience, it's about cunning. Your stomach growls again. You start planning. Your first lesson in combat is not what you expected. You thought there'd be wooden swords, maybe some instruction. Instead, Sthenelaidas hands each boy a stick about 3 feet long and says one word. Fight. You're paired against a boy named Eurytus. He's slightly bigger than you, which isn't saying much. You're all scrawny at 7. There are no rules explained, no technique taught, just fight. The older boys form a circle, shouting encouragement that sounds more like threats. Break his nose! Make him bleed! Eurytus swings first. The stick cracks across your shoulder, and pain explodes down your arm. You've never been hit like this before. Your mother slapped you once for stealing honey, but this is different. This is meant to hurt. You swing back wildly, miss. He hits you again, this time across the ribs. You go down. The circle erupts in laughter. Get up, Sthenelaidas barks. You can't breathe. Your ribs feel broken. Get up. His voice is iron. You get up. Eurytus is grinning now, confident. He swings high. You duck, more instinct than skill, and jab upward. Your stick catches him in the throat. He drops, gagging, hands at his neck. The laughter stops. Sthenelaidas nods once, something like approval in his cold eyes. Good. Dirty, desperate, effective. Remember this feeling. The fight you're willing to crawl through dirt for is the fight you'll win. Eurytus is still gasping. You realize your hands are shaking, not from fear anymore, from something else. Exhilaration maybe, or horror at what you're becoming. Night comes, and with it, the cold. Your single cloak is pathetic against the dropping temperature. November in Sparta isn't brutal by northern standards, but for a 7-year-old with no blanket, no fire, no protection, it's agony. You curl into the tightest ball possible, knees to chest, cloak wrapped around you. It doesn't help much. Aristodemus is crying again, quieter this time, learning. The older boys ignore him now. He's not worth the effort of bullying. You can hear teeth chattering all around you, 20 boys suffering in silence because complaining achieves nothing. Your ribs throb from today's beating. Every breath hurts. Around midnight, you hear movement. Soft footsteps. You open one eye. 3 older boys are creeping out, Alcibiades among them. They're going stealing. Food, probably, or maybe warmer clothing from the Helot quarters. You watch them slip through the door like shadows. They'll be back before dawn, or they'll be caught and whipped. You think about your mother's bed, soft sheep's wool blankets, your father's snoring from the next room. warm bread in the morning. That life is gone. That boy who lived it is gone. You're someone else now, someone harder. You have to be. Just before dawn, the three thieves return. They have bread, cheese, and, impossibly, a chicken. They share nothing with the younger boys. That's expected. You'll have to earn your place before anyone shares anything. As the sun rises, Sthenelaidas bursts in, banging his stick against the wall. Up, run, 10 miles before breakfast. You're exhausted. You haven't slept. You have bruised ribs. You run anyway. Everyone runs. The alternative is worse. The run is hell. Your legs feel like they're filled with sand. Your ribs scream with every breath. The older boys set a brutal pace, and if you fall behind, Sthenelaidas is there with his stick. He caught Aristodemus lagging after the first mile and beat him across the backs of his legs until he sprinted forward, crying and bleeding. You learn to manage pain. Not overcome it, that's impossible, but manage it. You breathe in rhythm with your steps. You focus on the boy ahead of you, nothing else. Not the rocks cutting your bare feet, not the burning in your lungs, not the thought that you have to do this every single day for the next 13 years. The route takes you through the Helot farms. These are the enslaved peoples, conquered generations ago, forced to work Spartan land. They stop to watch you run past, 20 starving boys and a sadistic trainer. Some Helots show pity in their eyes. Others show something darker, satisfaction. They know what Sparta does to its own children. They know these boys are being forged into the very weapons that will keep them enslaved. It's a sick cycle. After the run comes breakfast. More black broth, smaller portion than yesterday. Your stomach has stopped growling. It's moved past hunger into a constant, dull ache. The bread you stole helped, but not enough. Never enough. This is the point. Sparta wants you hungry. Hungry boys are aggressive. Hungry boys take risks. Hungry boys become hungry men who march 100 miles and fight a battle at the end of it. An older boy named Pausanias, 14, already looking like a man with the first shadows of a beard, addresses the younger boys during the meal. Tonight, some of you will steal food. Some of you will get caught. The ones who get caught will wish they'd gone hungry. He shows his back. It's a landscape of scars, old and new, white lines and fresh scabs. I've been caught 7 times, beaten every time, but I've succeeded 100 times. Learn the ratio. Suffering is temporary. Hunger is constant. Choose your suffering. You make eye contact with 2 other boys your age. Leonidas, not the famous one, just another boy with that common name, and Cleomenes. No words are spoken, but an understanding passes between you. Tonight, you'll try together. 3 sets of eyes, 3 chances to spot trouble, 3 targets for punishment if you fail. The day continues with more training, wrestling in the mud, spear practice with blunted weapons that still manage to draw blood. You learn quickly or you bleed, sometimes both. By evening, you're covered in cuts, bruises, and other boys' blood. You're also more alert than you've ever been. Your senses are sharpening. Fear does that. When darkness falls completely, you slip out with Leonidas and Cleomenes. The barracks door isn't locked. That would defeat the purpose. You're supposed to sneak out. You're supposed to steal. The lesson is in not getting caught. 3 boys, barefoot, moving through Spartan streets like ghosts. The moon is a thin crescent, which helps. Less light means less chance of being spotted. The Helot quarters are south of the main city. You know this because the older boys talk, and you listen to everything. Information is survival. The buildings here are different, rougher, smaller, packed together. You can smell cooking meat and your mouth waters. But houses are risky. Too many people, too many chances to wake someone up. Instead, you target the storage shed behind what looks like a farm building. Cleomenes, the smallest, squeezes through a gap in the wooden slats. You hear him moving inside, then a soft curse. "Guards," he whispers. Not soldiers, just a dog. A very awake, very interested dog. Its growl rumbles through the night. Decision time. Run and you get nothing. Stay and you might get bitten, might get caught, might get everything. Leonidas grabs a rock. "I'll distract it. You grab what you can." He doesn't wait for agreement. He hurls the rock onto a distant roof. The dog's attention shifts. Cleomenes emerges with a small sack, grain, maybe some dried meat. You run. Behind you, shouting, torches, the dog barking. You run faster than you did this morning, fear giving you wings. You don't look back. You make it back to the barracks breathing so hard you think your lungs might burst. Your feet are bleeding from sprinting over rocks in the dark. But you made it. And you have food. Cleomenes opens the sack. Dried figs, a small wheel of cheese, some grain. Not much, but more than nothing. You divide it 3 ways and eat in the darkness, trying to chew quietly. The food tastes better than anything you've ever eaten. Not because it's good, the cheese is hard and the figs are old, but because you earned it. You risked pain for it. This is what Sparta wants you to learn. Nothing comes free. Everything costs. Pain, risk, cunning, effort. You're starting to understand. Alcibiades is watching from his sleeping spot. You can see his eyes reflecting the moonlight. He knows what you did. Tomorrow he might demand a cut as payment for not telling. Or he might respect you for succeeding. With someone like him, you never know. You meet his gaze and don't look away. He smiles slightly, nods once, rolls over. You've passed some invisible test. Sleep doesn't come easily. You're too alert, too aware that tomorrow brings more pain, more hunger, more tests. But for the first time since arriving, you don't feel completely helpless. You took action. You succeeded. Your mother's words echo. You belong to Sparta now. Maybe you're starting to understand what that means. Not just suffering, becoming sharp, becoming dangerous, becoming something that can survive anything. 6 months pass. You're 8 now, though no one celebrates birthdays here. You've grown, not taller, but harder. Your body is lean muscle over bone. Your feet have developed calluses thick as leather. You can run 20 miles and still fight at the end. You've stolen successfully 30 times, been caught and beaten 4 times. You've learned the math Pausanias mentioned. Suffering is temporary, hunger is constant. The training intensifies. Now you learn actual fighting techniques, not just wild brawling. Sthenelaidas teaches you how to hold a spear, how to thrust with your weight behind it, how to keep your shield up when your arm feels like it's dying. Your shield, he says constantly, is not for you. It's for the man on your left. Your life depends on the man to your right keeping his shield up. This is phalanx. This is Sparta. We fight as one or we die as individuals. You're paired with Leonidas for shield drills. Hours of standing in formation, shields locked, pushing against older boys who try to break your line. Your arm screams, your legs shake, but you hold. When Leonidas's shield dips from exhaustion, you shift yours to cover him. When yours drops, his moves to protect you. You're learning. Survival isn't individual here, it's collective. The man next to you is more important than yourself. Aristodemus is gone. He disappeared 3 weeks ago. No one talks about it. No one needs to. He couldn't adapt, couldn't harden. This place eats the weak. You think about him sometimes at night. Then you stop. Thinking about the ones who fail means admitting you might fail. Your 9th year brings new horrors. The Crypteia begins to be whispered about by the older boys. You don't fully understand it yet, but you catch fragments. Secret police, hunting helots, becoming invisible, sanctioned murder. The best students, they say, get chosen for this. It's presented as an honor. The way they talk about it makes your blood cold. But that's years away. Your current horror is more immediate. The fighting pits. Once a month, boys are selected to fight, not with sticks anymore, but with real intent to harm. No rules, no stopping until someone can't continue. It's meant to teach you that mercy is weakness, that hesitation gets you killed. You've watched 3 fights so far. You've seen broken bones, lost teeth, blood pooling in the dirt. Today, your name is called. Your opponent is a boy named Menestus, 10 years old, bigger, with 2 years more training. The older boys form their circle. Sthenelidus stands at the edge, impassive. "Begin," he says. Menestus doesn't waste time. He rushes you, trying to use his size advantage. You learned from your first fight with Eurytus. Don't be where the big hit is coming. You sidestep, barely, and his momentum carries him past you. You could run, make it last longer, but that's not the lesson. The lesson is controlled aggression. You learned that from watching. You kick his knee from the side as he passes, not hard enough to break it, but enough to drop him. He goes down. You're on him immediately, arm around his throat from behind. Not to kill, that would be wasteful, but enough pressure to make him understand he's beaten. He taps the ground. You release him. Sthenelidus nods. Efficient, good. You're 10. Your mother comes to visit. It's been 3 years since you saw her. You barely recognize her, and you suspect she barely recognizes you. The soft boy she kissed goodbye is gone. In his place stands something harder, colder, scarred inside and out. She's allowed 1 hour, once a year. Most boys get this visit. Some mothers don't come. Their sons are dead or not worth the walk. She looks at you the way a farmer might examine a tool, assessing quality, checking for defects. "Show me your hands," she says. You extend them. Calloused, scarred, knuckles permanently swollen from fighting. She nods. Good. Your feet. More calluses, old cuts healed into ridges. Another nod. Have you killed yet? The question doesn't shock you. It should, but it doesn't. Not a person. Dogs, rats, a wolf once with Leonidas. She actually smiles at this. The wolf is good, shows cunning. Wolves don't fight fair. She asks no questions about whether you're happy, whether you're afraid, whether you miss home. Those questions are irrelevant. She asks about your skills. Can you throw a spear? Can you hold your position? Have you been beaten for being caught stealing? Yes, yes, yes. She looks satisfied. Your brother's shield still hangs in our home. You'll earn your own. Perhaps you'll come home carrying both. Not with both, carrying both. She's already imagined you dead, imagined herself receiving your shield. As she leaves, she pauses. Remember what I told you, with your shield or on it. 3 years ago, you didn't understand. Now you do. Come home victorious or come home dead. Either is acceptable. Coming home defeated, alive but a coward, that's unthinkable. That's worse than death. She walks away without looking back. 11 years old, you're given your first real weapon, a Xiphus, the short sword every Spartan carries. It's not new. The bronze is pitted. The edge has been sharpened so many times, the blade is thinner than it should be, and there's a dark stain near the hilt that might be old blood. This sword has killed before. Now it's yours to continue its work. The older boys, 15 and 16 now, are sparring with real blades. You watch one bout where Pausanias, nearly grown, barely recognizable from the 14-year-old who showed you his scars, fights another boy named Brasidas. Real speed, real danger. Pausanias's blade slips past Brasidas's guard and opens a cut along his ribs. Not deep enough to kill, but enough to hurt, to teach. Brasidas doesn't stop. He presses forward despite the blood running down his side, gets inside Pausanias's reach and puts his blade to his throat. Both are bleeding. Both are grinning. Sthenelaidas separates them. Good. Both of you would have died, but you'd have taken your enemy with you. Acceptable outcome. You understand the math now. Your death doesn't matter if the enemy dies too. Individual survival is irrelevant. Only Sparta's survival matters. It should horrify you. Instead, it makes sense. You've become what they wanted. At 12, you participate in your first diamastagosis, the ritual whipping at the altar of Artemis or Thea. You've heard about this for years, but hearing and experiencing are different universes. You stand with other boys your age before the altar. Older boys, the ones who whip you, stand behind with leather strips embedded with metal. The priestess explains, this is about endurance, about showing the gods that Spartan boys cannot be broken. Some boys die during this. That's acceptable. The gods take whom they want. The first lash across your back is lightning made solid. Your vision whites out. You hear yourself scream, can't stop it. The second lash crosses the first. Your legs want to buckle. You lock your knees. Spartans do not kneel. The third, fourth, fifth, you lose count. The world narrows to pain and pride. You will not kneel. You can hear Leonidas next to you, also being whipped, also screaming, also refusing to fall. When it finally stops, your back is raw meat. They pour wine over the wounds to clean them. The alcohol in the wine makes you scream again, makes you wish you died. But you're standing. You stayed standing. The priestess approaches, places her hand on your bloody shoulder, and speaks. The gods have tested you. You did not break. Artemis sees you. Sparta sees you. It should feel like an honor. Mostly, it feels like agony. They lead you to the recovery area where you'll lie on your stomach for a week while your back slowly heals. The scars will be permanent. Years from now, 13, you're trusted with night patrols now. Older boys lead, but you're part of the group that watches for Helot uprisings, for Persian spies, for threats real and imagined. Tonight, you're with Leonidas and Pausanias, now 17 and terrifying in his competence, moving through the olive groves south of the city. You carry your sephos and a short spear. Your feet make no sound. You've learned to move like smoke. Pausanias raises his fist. Everyone freezes. Ahead, voices. Two men speaking in low tones. Helots by the sound of it. Pausanias gestures. You and Leonidas circle left. He'll approach direct. This is practice for the Crypteia, the secret police work that starts at 15. You're being tested. Your heart hammers, but your breathing stays controlled. You've learned this. Through the branches, you can see the two helots. They're just talking, probably doing nothing wrong. But that's not the point. The point is to learn to hunt men, to become comfortable with stalking, with violence, with the moment before killing. Pausanias steps into the clearing, spear ready. What are you doing out past curfew? The helots freeze. One starts to explain, something about checking irrigation. Pausanias doesn't care. Run. It's not a suggestion. The helots understand. They run. Pausanias doesn't chase them. Doesn't need to. The fear is the point. He turns to you and Leonidas. Good positioning. If this was Crypteia for real, they'd be dead. Remember, fear controls almost as well as death, and it's reusable. Dead helots can't farm. Terrified ones farm very well. You understand the lesson. Cruelty is a tool. Use it efficiently. 14. Your voice has dropped. You're developing the first hints of a beard. More importantly, you're being taught advanced phalanx tactics. The formation is everything in Spartan warfare. Individual heroics mean nothing. The wall of shields, the forest of spears, the unified advance. This is how Sparta fights. This is why 300 can hold a pass against thousands. You drill this until you can do it in your sleep. Shield up, spear forward, maintain the line. If the man next to you falls, close the gap. Always close the gap. During one drill, a boy named Demaratus, 15, should know better, lets his shield drop from exhaustion. Instantly, Sthenelaidas is there. He doesn't beat Demaratus. Instead, he beats Leonidas, who is standing to Demaratus's right. You see? Sthenelaidas says while Leonidas takes the blows. His weakness endangered you. His failure is your pain. This is phalanx. This is Sparta. We share everything. Glory, death, and punishment for weakness. After the drill, Leonidas doesn't speak to Demaratus for a week. No one does. Isolation is worse than any beating. Eventually, Demaratus works harder, gets stronger, keeps his shield up. The lesson is learned. Your weakness doesn't just hurt you, it hurts everyone who depends on you. This forges either unbreakable bonds or deep resentments, usually both. At 15, you're selected for Crypteia. This is supposed to be an honor. The best students, the most cunning, the most ruthless, they get chosen to hunt helots for a year. You'll live in the wilderness, take what you need, and kill any helot caught outside after dark. No trial, no questions. The purpose is threefold. Keep the helot population terrified, give you experience hunting and killing humans, and eliminate potential rebels before they organize. Your first night in the hills, you're paired with Cleomenes. Remember him? The thin, nervous boy from your first theft? He's not nervous anymore. He's efficient, quiet, and has already killed 3 helots this month. He shows you how to wait near water sources. They have to drink, he explains. Just wait, be patient, they always come. Near midnight, a helot appears, a young man, maybe 20, carrying a water jug. He's violating curfew, which makes him fair game. Cleomenes nods at you. Your test. You move silently from the shadows, Cephos in hand. The helot sees you too late. He drops the jug, reaches for a knife. You're faster. The blade goes between his ribs like Sthenelaidas taught you. Thrust, don't slash. The helot's eyes go wide, confused, afraid. He slides off your blade and falls. You've killed your first human. You expected to feel something. Horror, guilt, triumph. You feel mostly nothing. Hollow. Cleomenes claps your shoulder. Good thrust. Clean. He barely suffered. He says this like it's a kindness. Maybe it is. You clean your blade on the dead man's clothes. Tomorrow, his family will find him. They'll know. This is what happens when you violate curfew. Fear is reusable, Pausanias said. You're learning that he was right. The Crypteia year changes you. By the time you return to the barracks at 16, you've killed 11 men. Some were legitimate threats, helots caught with weapons, organizing. Others were just unlucky. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong circumstances. You stop counting after 7. The number doesn't matter. What matters is that killing no longer makes you feel hollow. It doesn't make you feel anything at all. This worries you slightly, in the small part of yourself that still remembers being 7 years old and afraid. Then you push that part down. That boy is dead. Has to be. You're given a month to adjust before the final phase of training begins. Real warfare. Raids on neighbouring territories, skirmishes with Arcadian border towns, small conflicts designed to blood the new warriors before the real war comes. Because real war is always coming. Persia is always looming. Athens is always scheming. Sparta is always ready. Leonidas, your Leonidas, not the famous king, is preparing for his first real battle next month. Thebes has been making trouble, and a force is being assembled. He's nervous, actually nervous for the first time in years. Killing helots is one thing, he says while you're alone. They're not armed, they're not trained, but fighting men who know how to fight back. Men in phalanx, that's different. You don't have an answer. You'll find out yourself soon enough. For now, you maintain your equipment. Sharpen your xiphus, oil your shield, repair your sandals. Your mother's words echo constantly now. With your shield, or on it. You understand completely. The shield represents coming home victorious. Being carried on it represents dying in battle. Being carried home by your surviving brothers. Both outcomes are honourable. The only dishonour is dropping the shield and running. Then you don't come home at all. 17. You're in the phalanx now. Not training drills, the actual military phalanx. 128 men, 16 files of 8, marching toward the Theban border. You're in the 5th rank, which means you won't be in the killing zone immediately, but you'll push forward when the front ranks fall. And they will fall. That's how phalanx works. The front 3 ranks do most of the killing and dying. The back 5 ranks replace them and push the formation forward over the bodies. The march takes 3 days. You sleep in formation, cook in formation, shit in designated areas at designated times in formation. Individual needs are irrelevant. The phalanx is a single organism, and you're just one cell. Pausanias, now 19 and terrifying, is in the front rank. Leonidas is beside you in the 5th. You can feel his fear. You can feel your own, though you'd never admit it. The night before battle, the polemarch, the war leader, addresses the formation. Tomorrow, you become what Sparta made you. Everything you've endured was preparation for this. The hunger, the beatings, the cold, the fear. All of it was to forge you into something that cannot break. The Thebans outnumber us 3-1. They expect us to retreat. They expect reasonable men to avoid death. He smiles. We are not reasonable men. We are Spartans. We advance, always advance. If you die, your shield comes home. If you run, nothing comes home. Not your body, not your name, not your family's honour. With your shield, or on it, sleep well. You don't sleep. No one does. You lie in the darkness, listening to men breathing, some praying, some sharpening blades that are already sharp. Tomorrow, the real test. Tomorrow, you learn if 9 years of suffering made you into a weapon, or just into another corpse. Dawn. The phalanx forms. You lock your shield with the man to your left. Feel the man to your right lock his shield, overlapping yours. The wall is complete. 128 shields become one shield. 128 men become one weapon. The Theban line is visible across the field. 300 men, maybe more. They're shouting, beating spears against shields, trying to intimidate you. It doesn't work. You're beyond intimidation. You're beyond fear. You're somewhere else entirely, somewhere cold and focused. The command. Advance. The phalanx moves forward as one. Left foot, right foot, shields locked, spears forward. The rhythm is everything. You've drilled this 10,000 times. Your body knows what to do, even as your mind screams. The Thebans charge, breaking their formation like idiots. Individual heroics. This is why Sparta wins. You don't break formation, ever. Impact. The front ranks collide with a sound like thunder. You're in the 5th rank, pushing forward, unable to see much beyond the forest of spears and the backs of men ahead. Someone in the front rank falls. You see him go down, see the gap appear, see it close immediately as the 2nd rank steps forward. The machine continues. Your job is to push. Just push. Keep the pressure constant. Keep the formation tight. A Theban breaks through somehow, finds a gap, lunges toward you. Your training reacts before your thought does. Shield up, deflect the spear thrust. Step forward, stab with your spear. You feel it punch through his armor, feel the resistance of flesh and bone. He falls. You step over him, filling the gap in the 3rd rank now. 2nd rank, 1st rank. You're in the killing zone now. This is what you were made for. The battle lasts 3 hours. It feels like 3 minutes and 3 days simultaneously. Time breaks down when you're killing and trying not to be killed. The Thebans finally break when their commander falls. Pausanias killed him, drove his spear through the man's eye socket. Without leadership, their formation collapses. They run. The phalanx doesn't pursue. Spartans don't chase fleeing enemies. That breaks formation. You hold the field. You hold your position. You've won. The aftermath is worse than the battle. Now you can see. 32 Spartans dead. You step over men you knew, men you trained with. Brasidas is among them, the boy who sparred with Pausanias years ago. His eyes are still open. Someone will close them. Someone will carry his shield home. You look for Leonidas. Find him. He's alive, bleeding from a cut on his arm, but alive. You embrace briefly, wordlessly. You both survived your first real battle. The wounded are being treated. The dead are being prepared for transport. Their shields will return to their families. The families will display them with pride. He came home on his shield, they'll say. He died well. This is honor in Sparta. This is what your mother meant. You understand completely now, standing in a field of corpses, your spear still sticky with blood. The shield represents everything. Carrying it means you fought. Being carried on it means you died fighting. Dropping it means you ran, and running is unthinkable. You clean your weapons. The ritual is calming. The battle madness fades. You're just tired now, bone deep exhausted. But you're also alive. And you held the line. Your shield never dropped. Tomorrow, you'll march home. Tomorrow, your mother will ask if you brought your shield. You'll show her. She'll nod. That's all. No celebration. You did what was expected. But for the first time in 10 years, you'll see something like pride in her eyes. The march home is quiet. The wounded are carried. The dead are carried on their shields. You walk beside Leonidas, neither of you speaking much. What is there to say? You survived. Others didn't. The math is simple. As you approach Sparta, families line the road. They're not there to welcome you. They're there to see which shields are being carried home. A woman sees her son's shield being carried by his surviving companions. She doesn't cry. She doesn't collapse. She nods once, accepts it, walks alongside the formation to claim the shield. Her son died in battle. This is acceptable. This is honorable. If he'd come home alive, having dropped his shield, she would have turned him away. Sparta is strange this way. Death is preferable to cowardice. Your mother is there. She sees you carrying your own shield. Her face reveals nothing, but she nods. You've met the minimum expectation. Later, at home, she examines your shield. There's a deep gouge where a Theban spear nearly penetrated. This almost killed you, she observes. Yes, you confirm. She traces the gouge with her finger. But it didn't. Your shield held. You held. This is the closest thing to affection you'll get from her. It's enough. He fought in more battles than you can count, came home on his own shield every time until his leg injury ended his combat service. He examines your weapons, checks your armor, nods approval. Your brother's shield is still on the wall. Yours can hang beside it. This is your homecoming. No celebration, no feast. Just acceptance that you did what Spartans do. You survived your first battle. There will be many more. The wedding night is bizarre, even by Spartan standards. Lampito's head is shaved, and she's dressed in men's clothing. This is supposed to make the transition easier for men who've spent the last 11 years living exclusively with other males. You're supposed to sneak into her family home, consummate the marriage quickly, then sneak back to the barracks. You're not allowed to live with your wife until you're 30. This is Sparta. Even marriage is a military exercise. You approach her in the darkness. She doesn't speak. Neither do you. This is transactional, efficient, joyless. Afterward, you leave immediately, returning to the barracks where you've lived for 11 years. Leonidas is there. "How was it?" he asks. You shrug. "Strange. That's all. Tomorrow, training continues. War continues. Your wife will hopefully produce children, sons to feed into this same system, daughters to marry other warriors. The cycle perpetuates. You see Lampito occasionally over the next few years. Conversations are brief, functional. She becomes pregnant. This is good. You're fulfilling your duty to Sparta. She gives birth to a son. The elders examine him immediately. No deformities. He passes. He'll live. In 7 years, he'll be taken to the agoge, and the process begins again. You feel nothing about this. You probably should feel something. Father, they call you now. But you're not a father. You're a weapon that occasionally produces more weapons.
20 years old. Persia is finally coming. Everyone knew it was inevitable. The great king doesn't forget. Sparta embarrassed Persia at Marathon a decade ago, and now Xerxes brings an army that rumor says numbers 1 million men. It's probably not that many, but it's a lot. More than Sparta can field by 10 times, 20 times. The Greek city-states are scrambling to organize resistance. King Leonidas, the famous one, not your friend, is assembling a force. 300 Spartans, all men with living sons to continue their bloodlines. You don't qualify, your son is only 2. But you're assigned to the force that will support the 300, several thousand allied Greeks who will hold the pass at Thermopylae. The strategy is simple, geography. The pass is narrow. The Persians can't use their numbers. The phalanx can hold. For a while. You're going to a different assignment, reinforcing the coast. You embrace before he leaves, actually embrace, something you haven't done since you were children. "Come back with your shield," you say. He grins, but it doesn't reach his eyes. Or on it, always. You both know the math. 300 against tens of thousands. They'll hold for a few days, then they'll die. All of them. The famous 300 will become legendary, but right now they're just men walking towards certain death, because that's what Sparta requires. The Persians are eventually defeated at Plataea, their massive army ground down by Greek phalanxes fighting on favorable terrain. You survive. You always survive. It starts to feel strange. You're 23 now, fought in 7 major battles, dozens of minor skirmishes. You've killed. You stopped counting years ago. 50 men? 100? Does it matter? You're alive. That's what matters. But survival has a cost. You notice it in quiet moments. You can't sleep without seeing faces. The first Helot you killed during Crypteia. The Theban whose throat you cut. The Persian who almost got inside your guard before you stabbed him. They visit you in darkness, not accusing, just present. You drink more wine than you should. Many veterans do. It helps with the dreams. Not much, but some. Your son is 5 now. You see him occasionally. He doesn't know you. How could he? You're a stranger who appears a few times a year. In 2 years, he'll go to the agoge. He'll be beaten, starved, frozen, turned into what you became. You want to warn him. You want to tell him it breaks something inside, but you can't. This is Sparta. This is what you are. This is what he'll become. Your mother died last year. Fever took her, quick and brutal. Her last words to your father, "My sons brought their shields home." That's enough. She meant you and your brother, the one whose shield hung on the wall, the one who died before you really knew him. You felt nothing at her funeral. You tried to feel something. Grief, loss, anything. Just nothing. War took that from you years ago.
30 years old. You're finally allowed to live outside the barracks, though you still mess with your unit and train daily. You move in with Lampito and your son, now 7 and freshly taken to the agoge. Your daughter, born 3 years ago, is still at home. This is the closest thing to normal family life you'll experience. It's awkward. You don't know how to be a husband or father. You only know how to be a soldier. Lampito is patient in her way. She's been shaped by the same culture. She doesn't expect warmth or affection. She expects duty, and you provide that. You maintain the home, manage the helots who work your land allotment, produce children when required. It's a functional partnership, not a marriage in any romantic sense. But it works. It's what Sparta needs. Your son visits sometimes when the agoge allows. He's being broken down the same way you were. You see yourself at 7 in his eyes. The confusion, the fear he's learning to hide, the transformation beginning. You want to help him. You can't. He has to become this on his own. All you can do is nod when he shows you his first stolen food, acknowledge when he describes his first beating. Good, you say. You're learning. It's what your father said to you. It's what Spartan fathers say. The Persian threat is diminishing, but Athens is rising. New conflicts are brewing. There's talk of war between Sparta and Athens, the 2 great powers of Greece. It's inevitable. It's always inevitable. You're 30 now, still strong, still deadly, but starting to slow slightly. You have maybe 10 more years of frontline service. Then you'll train the next generation, turn more 7-year-olds into weapons. The cycle continues, always continues. Your first engagement against Athens is at Delium. The Athenian phalanx is good, not Spartan good, but good enough. The battle is brutal. You're in the 3rd rank now, age and experience earning you a slightly less exposed position. But 3rd rank still kills. An Athenian spear gets through, catches you in the side. The bronze corselet deflects most of it, but the point still penetrates. You feel the punch, the hot cold of metal in flesh. You don't fall. Can't fall. Falling means the man behind you has to fill your gap, means the formation weakens. You shift your shield, keep pushing, ignore the blood running down your side. The battle continues. Sparta wins. Sparta usually wins land battles. But the wound is worse than you thought. The surgeons treat it with wine and hot bronze. Ah! You scream. Strong men hold you down while they cauterize. The scar will be impressive, but you'll live. You always live. While recovering, you have time to think. Dangerous thing, thinking. You're 35, been fighting since 17. 18 years of battles. You've lost count of the scars, the near deaths, the actual deaths you've dealt. You're slowing down. Younger men are faster now. In a few years, someone will suggest you retire from frontline combat. Maybe it's time.
Maybe you've earned rest. But what is a Spartan warrior without war? What are you without this?
40 years old, you're no longer Frontline. The decision was made for you after another wound, this one to your leg, similar to your father's old injury. You limp now. Not badly, but enough that rapid formation movements are compromised. You're assigned to training the new recruits. You've become Sthenolidas. This realization hits hard. You stand before 27-year-olds, freshly torn from their mothers, terrified and trying to hide it. You see yourself in every face. You see Leonidas, dead 15 years now, died at Thermopylae. You see Aristodemus, who couldn't adapt and vanished. You see all the boys who became men, became corpses, became scars on others' memories. And now you'll forge more. You're not as cruel as Sthenolidas was. Or maybe you tell yourself that. You still beat them when they fail. You still starve them deliberately. You still send them to fight each other with sticks and no rules. This is the method. This is what creates Spartans. But you remember being on the receiving end. You remember the fear, the cold, the hunger. You try to be fair, at least. Cruelty for a purpose, not for pleasure. It's a small distinction. The boys don't care. One boy, Alexios, reminds you of yourself at 7. Quick, clever, scared but hiding it. You don't go easy on him. Can't. That would be worse than cruelty. It would be setting him up to fail when the real tests come. But you watch him. When he steals successfully, you pretend not to notice. When he fights smart instead of strong, you nod approval. Small things. Maybe it helps. Maybe it doesn't. He has to survive on his own, just like you did. He visits sometimes. Conversations are brief, military. How is the Athens campaign? Successful. We took their supply depot. Good. That's it. You don't ask if he's afraid, if he's hurt, if he's becoming what you became. These questions are irrelevant in Sparta. He's alive. He's fighting. That's enough. Except it isn't. You want to tell him something, some wisdom earned from 30 years of warfare. But what? It breaks you inside? He knows. Everyone knows. That's the price. That's what Sparta costs. Your daughter married last year, 16 years old, paired with a warrior she'd never met. The cycle continues. She'll produce children who'll be taken and broken and reformed into weapons. This is Sparta's immortality, not through art or philosophy, but through endless reproduction of trauma. You helped build this machine. You fed your own children into it. What does that make you? Your father died this year, quietly in his sleep. His last words were about battles you'd never heard of, men long dead. You buried him with his shield, the one he carried home every time. Your brother's shield was buried with him too. Your own shield will go to your son when you die. The shields are everything. They're all that remains. You understand your mother's words completely now, but the understanding is hollow. With your shield, or on it. You have your shield, you're still here. But you're not sure what you're here for anymore.
50 years old. You're old for a Spartan warrior. Most die younger, in battle or from battle wounds that fester later. Your body is a map of violence. Scars on your arms, your legs, your torso, your face. Your hands shake slightly from old nerve damage. Your limp is worse in cold weather. But you're alive, still training boys, still occasionally called to fight in desperate situations. Experience has value, even attached to a broken body. The Peloponnesian War grinds on. Athens is weakening, but it's taking decades. The war is eating Greece alive, Spartan and Athenian alike. You're starting to wonder if there's a point. Not allowed to wonder that in Sparta. Questioning the wars means questioning Sparta itself. Means questioning everything you suffered for, everything you built. Can't afford that kind of thinking. Alexios, The boy you trained who reminded you of yourself is 17 now, fighting in his first real battles. He comes to you sometimes, asking questions he can't ask his actual father. Does it get easier? He asks. The killing, the watching friends die. Does it get easier? You think about your mother's words constantly now. With your shield or on it? You have your shield, carried it home from every battle. But what if there's a third option nobody mentions? What if you come home alive but hollow? That's not victory or honorable death. That's just endurance. Maybe that's all there ever was. 55. Sparta wins the Peloponnesian War. Athens surrenders. You should feel triumph. You mostly feel tired. 27 years of warfare, and for what? Athens will rebuild. Another enemy will rise. The wars never end. You've been fighting for 40 years, and you'll die having fought for nothing permanent. This is the secret veterans don't tell the young. Wars don't end, they just pause. Your son returns from the final campaign. He's 30 now, your age when you moved in with Lampito and tried to be a father. He has a son of his own, 4 years old. In 3 years, that boy will go to the agoge. Your grandson will be broken and reformed the same way you were, the way your son was. The machine perpetuates. You can see the future perfectly. Your grandson will fight in the next war, and his sons will fight in the one after that. Forever. This is Sparta's gift to its children. Endless war dressed up as honor. You're training your last group of boys. Your hands shake too much now. Your leg barely functions. This will be your final year. 60 boys. You've trained thousands at this point. How many of them are dead now? How many died because you trained them to seek glory in war? These questions come at night, when you can't sleep, when the faces visit. You push them down. You have to. Thinking too much about it would break you, and you can't afford to break. Not yet. Alexios is 22 now, a skilled warrior. He sits with you sometimes, brings wine. You drink together in silence mostly. What is there to say? You both know what this life costs. You both chose it, or it was chosen for you, same difference. I have a son, he mentions one night. 1 year old, in 6 years. He doesn't finish, he doesn't need to. Yes, you say, in 6 years. The cycle continues, always continues. 60 years old, you're officially retired from all duties. This is rare. Most warriors don't live this long. Your body barely functions. The leg wound that never properly healed now keeps you mostly in your home. Your hands shake constantly. Old battle trauma, the surgeons say. Nothing to be done. You sit in your courtyard, watching your grandson play. He's 7 now. Tomorrow he goes to the agoge. You wanted to tell him something, some warning, some preparation. But what can you say? They'll beat you, starve you, freeze you, turn you into something that can kill without thinking. He'll learn. Everyone learns. You were 7 once. You survived. He'll survive or he won't. That's Sparta. You hold his small hand. He's still innocent, still soft, still human. Tomorrow, that begins to change. You feel something break inside watching him. You felt nothing for so long, but this hurts. This actually hurts. Your son comes to collect him. Time, he says. Your grandson looks at you, confused, afraid. Will I see you again? He asks. Yes, you lie. Maybe you will, but the boy asking won't exist anymore. The person who returns won't be this child. You learned this at 7. You've watched it happen to hundreds of boys. Now your own blood. Be strong, you tell him. It's what everyone says. It's useless advice. He'll be strong or he'll vanish. You watch them leave. Your wife, Lampito, sits beside you. She's aged too, 60 herself, greyer, harder. It continues, she says. You nod. It always continues. That night, you dream of your own first day, your mother's dry eyes, the thin cloak, the terrible cold, Aristodemus crying, the first beating, the first theft, the first time you realized help wasn't coming. You wake, the old familiar panic from decades ago. Lampeto doesn't wake. She's used to your nightmares. 65. You're dying. Not dramatically, no battle wound, no glory, just age and accumulated damage finally catching up. Your lungs fill with fluid. The surgeons can't help. You lie in your bed, struggling to breathe, and think about the words that defined your life. With your shield or on it? You have your shield. It's on the wall, next to your father's, next to your brother's. 3 generations of shields. Your son will add his someday. Your grandson will add his. The wall of shields growing like a monument to suffering. People visit. Your son, briefly, awkwardly. What do you say to a father who was never really a father? What does he say to a son who became what you became? You taught me well, he offers. Did you? You taught him to kill, to endure, to break other people the way you were broken. Yes, you say. What else is there? Alexios visits too, 30 now, already training boys himself. Thank you, he says. For what? For perpetuating the machine, for turning him into this. You're welcome, you say, because that's what he needs to hear. Your grandson is 10 now, 3 years into the agoge. He visits once. You barely recognize him. He's not the soft child you held. He's already sharp, already hard, already dangerous. He looks at you, this broken old man struggling to breathe, and you see the calculation. This is what happens if you live. This is the reward for surviving. He doesn't stay long. You don't blame him. At night, alone, you think about all the boys you trained. Hundreds of them. How many are dead? How many killed? How many are broken like you? The faces blur together. You can't separate them anymore. They're all just Spartan boys, all just weapons forged in suffering. You're proud of this and horrified by it. Both. Always both. Your last day. Breathing is agony. Each breath feels like drowning. Lampeto sits beside you. She's been there for hours, maybe days. Time is strange now. Do you remember? You rasp. When we were young. She looks confused. You were never young. Not really. 7 years old, and they took that from you. No, she says honestly. Neither do I, you admit. The faces come again. Not in dreams. You're awake, barely, but they're here anyway. The first helot you killed during Cryptia. Leonidas, your friend, dying at Thermopylae. Brasidas, bleeding in the phalanx. Aristodemus, vanishing because he couldn't adapt. Hundreds of 7-year-olds looking at you with hope and fear, thinking you'll help them, not understanding that you're the instrument of their breaking. They're all here now, witnesses to your ending. You think about your mother's words one final time. With your shield or on it. You fulfilled it. You brought your shield home from every battle. But she never mentioned the third option, the one you lived. Coming home with your shield, but leaving everything else behind. Your humanity, your capacity for joy, your ability to be anything except a weapon. You came home intact on the outside, destroyed on the inside. Is that victory? Is that honor? Your son enters. He's holding your shield. I'll hang it beside father's, he says. You try to nod. Your grandson is there too, watching, learning. This is his lesson. Even warriors die. Eventually, the machine breaks down everyone. But the machine itself? The machine continues. Tomorrow, more 7-year-olds will be taken. Tomorrow, more boys will be beaten, starved, frozen, turned into weapons. Tomorrow, Sparta continues. You're just one piece that wore out. Replaceable. Always replaceable.
You die at dawn. Lampito closes your eyes. Your son takes your shield and hangs it on the wall beside your father's, beside your brother's. 4 shields now. 4 generations. The room is quiet. No one cries. Spartans don't cry. They did what was expected. You did what was expected. You survived longer than most. You trained hundreds. You fought in dozens of battles. You came home with your shield. Success by Spartan standards. They burn your body on a pyre outside the city, as is custom. The smoke rises into the morning sky. Your ashes will be scattered. Nothing remains except the shield, and the boys you trained, and the system you perpetuated. That's your legacy, not art or philosophy or building or invention, just more warriors. More broken boys who'll become broken men, who'll break more boys. Sparta's immortality through endless trauma. Your grandson stands at the pyre. He's 10. He doesn't understand yet what he's watching. He sees a warrior's funeral, thinks it's honor, thinks it's glory. He doesn't see the truth. This is what happens when the weapon wears out. You're discarded, burned, forgotten, except as a shield on a wall. In 7 years, he'll understand. In 15 years, he'll be standing in a phalanx. In 30 years, he'll be training boys himself. In 50 years, he'll be dying like you did, wondering if any of it meant anything. The pyre burns down to ash. The ceremony ends. Everyone returns to their duties. Training continues. War continues. Sparta continues. Your mother's words echo one final time across the decades. With your shield or on it. You came home with your shield, and it destroyed you just as thoroughly as dying on it would have. Maybe more slowly. Maybe more completely. This is Sparta. This is what with your shield or on it really means. And so the cycle continues. 7-year-olds torn from their mothers, beaten, starved, frozen into weapons. 20 years of warfare, 40 years of training the next generation. Death without glory or ceremony. Just another shield on the wall. With your shield or on it. These words sound like honor. They are instructions for acceptable death. Come home victorious or come home dead. But there was always a third option, unspoken. Come home with your shield, having left your humanity on every battlefield. This was Sparta. This was the cost. Now sleep well. Your bed is warm. Your life is yours. That's enough.